Hi guys, Miss Vila's here. I just wanted to let you know that we're going to start some new stuff. We got with the seventh grade teachers to figure out what you needed to learn that we didn't get to yet for seventh grade. And the first thing we're going to learn is line plots. Um, Before you do anything else, what I want you to do is either get a piece of paper and pencil, or I want you to print slides 5 through 8. Okay, you can wait till the end to do this, but what you do is you go to the little printer icon right here. It's going to generate a preview. And you only need slides 5 through 8 to do this. You're just going to hold on to them so that you have some notes. But for the pages, you don't want to do all of the pages. You just want to do your custom where it's 5-8. And then you can see it's only going to give you like the notes pages. Okay. You don't have to print them in color. You can print them in black and white. And you can even do like 2 of the notes pages per page. So it'll be a little bit smaller, but you should still be able to read it just fine. Okay. And then you get that printed. But what we're going to do is I'm just going to go through the slideshow with you, some of the stuff you've already done if you're actually doing the slides in order. So the first thing we're going to look at is your warm up. These are elementary school problems. You've done this in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. So your first type of graph that you're going to look at is actually your bar graph. And it wants to know what the most popular color is. And obviously you look for the tallest bar, which is blue, and the blue represents 5. So you're just going to put the color blue. Okay, you're just going to type here, you're just going to type in the color blue. And then it wants to know how many students were surveyed. And in order to do that, you have to look at how many people each bar represents. So the green represents 4, yellow represents 2, red represents 3, orange is 1, blue is 5, and purple is 3. Okay, and then you have to add all of those up. So 4 plus 2 is 6, 2 plus 3 is 9, 9 plus 1 is 10, 10 plus 5 is 15, and 15 plus 3 is 18. So you just click in this box and type in 18. The next thing says how many more students chose blue than orange. Well, again, blue represented 5 and orange represented 1, so you just subtract and your answer would be 4. On number 3, you have a pictograph. I know that these are usually y'all's favorites. One of the things you have to note though is down here it says that 2 eyeballs represents 2 students. Okay, so a pair of eyes represents 2 students. So how many have blue eyes? So this is 2, 4, 6 students. This is how many were surveyed. So you have to count by 2s on this whole graph. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20 students. And then how many have brown eyes? You have 2, 4, 6, and 8. All right, so all I did there was just review the 2 slides that you should have done already. The 4th slide's the video that you're watching. And then for line plots. So one tool that we do use when we're talking about data is a line plot, which I did already type in here. A line plot is also called a dot plot. So here's the deal. A line plot uses a number line in order to show the number of times that each value in a data set occurs. Okay, so each X represents every time that data repeated itself. So line plots show the spread and, there's no Wi-Fi. Spread and the data distribution of a data set, okay? So remember, whenever you are making a number line, you are going to need to have consistent intervals, and the intervals are what your numbers are on your number line, all right? So there's a couple other words that you need to know, and that's cluster, peak, and gap. Gap's the easiest one. A gap is literally a gap in your data. So you can see here that there's like 1 space right here, but over here there's 2. So this is actually where your gap is going to be. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so it kind of fits in there. All right. Your cluster is where most of your data is. So most of our data is between 2 and 4. So that is actually where our cluster is right here, okay? And then finally you have your peak, and that's where the highest amount of data is. And it looks kind of like a mountain peak compared to everything else. So it's like your tallest line, all right? The next thing is actually how to create a line plot. So the first thing that you have to do is draw a number line, all right? Then you're going to label that number line. Again, make sure your intervals are the same. So you don't want to go 1, 2, and then 4, 5, 7, 12. You want to have it like in ones, or you want to count by twos. Okay, then after that, we're going to place either a dot or an X that represents each value of the corresponding number. Okay, so on this one, what we're going to do is we're actually going to create the line plot, and this represents the number of pets at home. So I'm going to insert a text box that says number of pets at home, all right? After that, we are going to write our number line. So our data goes from 0 to 6, and because of that, I have enough lines here that I can just write the numbers 0 to 6 and count by ones. So I'm going to put 1 here. And this is going to be a 2. We're going to pretend that that didn't happen. I'm just going to use spaces. I think that'll be easier. So that's going to be a 3, 4, 5, 6. And yours, your number lines from here on out will actually be done for you, so you will not have to do this. Oh, I forgot a 0, guys. Sorry about that. Go ahead and there we go. That's better. So this one, we actually have to have a 0. And then we can add a 1 in here. All right. So it's not the best number line, but you get the gist. So then what we're going to do is we're actually going to start plotting these numbers. Please note that these numbers are not in order, and for a line plot, they don't have to be, but it does usually make your life a little bit easier. So I'm going to read this side to side from left to right, then top to bottom like you would a book. So I'm going to take my X and I'm just going to drag this to the above the 2. And so my next number is a 3. And then my next number is actually a 4. Next, I have a 6. And then I have another 4. And another 4. Then I have a 2. Then another 2. Then I have another 1. Then I have a 5. Another 5. And a 0. And this is literally all you have to do. And if you're drawing this, you don't have to write X's. You can put regular dots if you want to. But what I want you to see is that you can clearly see that in this case, our peak is actually with 2 numbers, both 3 and 4. So your peak would be a 3 and a 4. Your cluster would actually be from 3 to 5, because 2 and 6 only have 1 person in them. And then your range is actually from 0 to 6 pets. Even though our number line goes to 10, our range actually stops at 6, okay? So you're basically going to do the same thing here. We're going to take our number of siblings, and we're going to take these X's, and we're going to paste them on above the number line. Please note that I said above the number line, not on the number line. So our first, again, I'm going to read from left to right, top to bottom. So you have 0. Then I have 1. And then I have a 2. I have another 2, so I'm going to put that one right above it. I have a 3 now. I have another 2. Oops, it's over here. Okay, then I have another 1. 4. 0. a 3, another 3, and lastly a 6. And you can see this 6 is kind of hanging out by itself over here. So most people have between 2 and 3 siblings. Okay. Again, our cluster of data is from 0 to 3. Okay. Our peak is actually tied again at 2 and 3, and then our range is from 0 to 6. Okay, and we do have a gap in this data. As you can see on this one, we don't have a gap anywhere. We actually have a dot everywhere. But on this one, we definitely have a gap right here. All right. So now what you're going to do is, thank you for watching the video, but now what you're going to do is you're actually going to complete slides 10 through 14 to show me that you understand what we just did. Side note, the less you try, the longer that we do this. So if you really truly understand it, give it your all. Everybody give it their all. Answer the questions, make the line plots, and turn this in, because if you look like you don't know what you're talking about, then we'll have to do another lesson. So I really want everybody to try their best on this, all right? All right, guys, miss your faces. Bye.